stop what you're doing right now. I'm about to reveal something that will completely change how you see relationships forever. You've been told that persistence wins, that fighting for love shows strength, that real men never give up. But what if I told you that the most devastating, soul-shaking thing you could ever do to someone who's taken you for granted is absolutely nothing at all? I'm talking about a silence so powerful it rewrites the entire dynamic. A stillness so profound it forces people to confront truths they've been running from. This isn't about being petty or playing games. This is about unleashing a force so natural, so authentic, that it transforms not just how others see you, but how you see yourself. Today, I'm going to show you what happens when a man who once gave everything chooses to give nothing. And trust me, what you're about to learn will shake you to your core. Brothers, we live in a world that has conditioned us to believe that love means sacrificing our peace, that caring means accepting disrespect, that being a good man means being a doormat with feelings. We've been programmed to chase, to explain, to prove our worth over and over again to people who should already know it. We've been taught that walking away makes us weak, that silence makes us cold, that choosing ourselves makes us selfish. But what if everything we've been taught about relationships is a lie? What if the most magnetic thing about a man isn't his willingness to fight for someone who doesn't fight for him? What if the most attractive quality isn't his ability to tolerate disrespect, but his refusal to accept it? Today, we're diving deep into the psychology of transformation. We're exploring what happens in the mind of someone who's grown comfortable disrespecting you when you suddenly stop allowing it. When you stop explaining, when you stop chasing, when you stop trying. This isn't about manipulation tactics or revenge strategies. This is about reclaiming something that's been slowly stolen from you. Your power, your peace, and your self-respect. Let's start with the first crack in her reality. The moment you break the cycle she's built her entire emotional framework around. For months, maybe years, you've been dancing to her rhythm. She tests you with coldness, you respond with warmth. She pulls away, you move closer. She creates chaos, you provide stability. She withdraws affection, you increase your effort. This isn't love, it's a toxic addiction cycle. And like any addict, she's become dependent on your predictable reactions to get her emotional fix. But here's what happens when you step completely out of that dance. Her entire system goes into shock. Picture this. She sends you a cold, dismissive text expecting your usual paragraph response trying to fix things. Instead, you either respond with simple acknowledgement or don't respond at all. She disappears for days, waiting for you to panic and come running with apologies. But you don't. She throws attitude, expecting you to walk on eggshells trying to figure out what's wrong. But you remain unmoved. For the first time in your relationship, she can't predict your next move. And unpredictability is kryptonite to someone who's used to controlling your emotions. Women don't actually fear being alone. They fear losing control. And your predictable reactions were her control panel. Every button she pushed resulted in the exact response she expected. But when those buttons stop working, when the man who once bent over backwards suddenly stands perfectly still, that's when panic sets in. She doesn't know how to process a man who doesn't chase, doesn't explain, doesn't react emotionally to her games. And that confusion quickly turns into something much deeper, respect mixed with fear. Here's where things get really interesting. Your silence becomes the loudest thing in her world. Think about every argument you used to engage in, every dramatic conversation, every late-night phone call where you tried to work things out. Every text thread where you explained your feelings over and over again. All of that was energy. Energy she fed off of. Your anger gave her power. Your frustration gave her control. Your desperation to be understood gave her validation. Even your pain served a purpose in her world because it proved she mattered to you. But when you remove that energy source completely, when you stop feeding the drama monster she's created, the entire ecosystem collapses. She throws her usual tests. The silent treatment, the attitude, the disappearing act. But instead of your usual reaction, she's met with something she's never experienced from you before. Complete emotional detachment. She gives you the cold shoulder, expecting you to warm up to her even more. Nothing. She starts an argument, expecting you to defend yourself. Silence. She plays victim, expecting you to rescue her. You don't move. For the first time, she's forced to sit alone with the consequences of her behavior, without you there to absorb the impact, to cushion the blow. to make it all okay. And that weight, the weight of her own, toxicity without your energy to balance it out, becomes unbearable. Your silence forces her to hear something she's been avoiding, the sound of her own conscience. This is where the real transformation begins, both for her and for you. Your absence becomes a mirror she can't escape from. Without the distraction of arguments, without your energy to manipulate, without drama to create, she's left alone with the reflection of who she's become. And for many women who've grown comfortable in toxic patterns, this reflection is devastating. She starts to remember things she's conveniently forgotten. The nights you stayed up trying to solve problems she wouldn't even acknowledge existed. The times you forgave her coldness while she took your warmth for granted. The way you always made time for her while she made you feel like you were interrupting her life. She recalls how you celebrated her wins while she minimized your achievements. How you supported her dreams while she criticized yours. How you gave her patience while she gave you stress. But here's the crucial part. This isn't happening because you're trying to teach her a lesson or make her feel guilty. This is happening because your absence has removed the buffer that was protecting her from facing the truth about her behavior. Your silence doesn't accuse her of anything. It doesn't argue with her. It doesn't try to prove points. It simply exists. And in that existence, it forces her to confront the reality of how she's been treating someone who genuinely cared about her. The mirror doesn't lie. And mirrors don't make excuses. Now comes the part that absolutely terrifies her. She watches you rediscover who you are without her chaos in your life. You're not angry. You're not bitter. You're not plotting revenge or trying to make her jealous. You're something far more dangerous to her sense of control. You're free. The man who used to walk on eggshells around her moods is now sleeping peacefully through the night. The man who used to analyze every word she said is now focused on his own goals and dreams. The man who lived for her validation is now his own source of approval and self-worth. She realizes she didn't just lose your attention, she lost the power to disturb your peace. And when a man finds his peace, when he remembers what life feels like without constant drama and emotional chaos, he doesn't willingly trade that freedom for chains again. This freedom isn't an act. It's not a strategy. It's the natural result of removing toxic influences from your life. You start laughing more. You sleep better. Your friends notice the change. Your family sees you're happier. Your work improves. Your health gets better. You remember who you were before you started shrinking yourself to accommodate her moods. You reconnect with the dreams you put on hold to manage her drama. You rediscover the confidence that got buried under months or years of trying to prove your worth to someone who never valued it. And this transformation? It's visible to everyone around you, including her. Women are masters at reading energy, and your transformation is impossible for her to ignore. Your entire vibe has changed. You're not drained anymore. You don't sound desperate when you speak. You carry yourself with a different kind of confidence, not the cocky kind that's trying to prove something, but the quiet confidence of a man who knows his worth and won't compromise it. She notices how you laugh more freely now. She sees how you've started investing in yourself again, hitting the gym, pursuing hobbies, spending time with friends you'd neglected. She watches as you rebuild the social connections and personal interests that got sacrificed on the altar of trying to keep her happy. Your conversations with others are lighter, more engaging. Your social media reflects someone who's actually enjoying life, instead of trying to manage someone else's emotions. Your energy attracts positive people while naturally repelling the negative ones. And it hits her like a freight train. She was never the center of your universe like she thought. She was just a chapter in your story, and you've already started writing new ones without her. But here's what really shakes her. You're not doing any of this to get back at her. You're not posting happy pictures to make her jealous. You're not flirting with other women to prove a point. You're simply living your life, fully, authentically, peacefully. And that authenticity, that genuine happiness that doesn't depend on her or anyone else, that's the most attractive force in the universe. This is where the deepest truth hits her. She never actually had power over you. She only had access. Access to your time, your energy, your patience, your forgiveness, your love, your peace of mind. And the day you close that door, not out of spite, but out of self-respect, is the day she understands what she truly lost. Power only exists if you give it away. Control only works if you allow it. Manipulation only succeeds if you participate in it. She thought she owned you because you always came back. She thought she controlled you because you always explained yourself. She thought she had power over you because you always tried harder when she pulled away. But now she realizes the brutal truth. She never owned you. She just borrowed you. And the loan has been called in. You're not angry about it. You're not seeking revenge. You've simply chosen your peace over her games, your self-respect over her drama, your growth over her comfort zone. And once you make that choice, once you truly understand that you can't control how others treat you, but you can control how long you allow it, everything changes. Brothers, listen to me very carefully. What I've just described isn't a strategy to get someone back. It's not a manipulation tactic to make them regret their choices. This is about something infinitely more valuable: reclaiming yourself. Right now, some of you are still caught in that toxic cycle. You're still explaining yourself to people who never intended to understand you. You're still trying to prove your worth to someone who's already shown you how little they value it. You're still giving your peace away to people who sleep soundly while you lie awake wondering what you did wrong. I need you to understand something. Your silence isn't giving up. It's growing up. Your peace isn't weakness, it's wisdom. Your choice to prioritize yourself isn't selfish. It's necessary. Here's what I want you to do starting today. Stop explaining yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. Your actions will speak louder than your words ever could. Stop overgiving to people who undervalue you. Save that energy for people who appreciate it and reciprocate it. Stop accepting disrespect in the name of love. Real love doesn't require you to sacrifice your dignity. Start choosing your peace over their drama. Start choosing your growth over their comfort. Start choosing yourself first, not because you don't care about others, but because you finally care about yourself. The most attractive thing about a man isn't his willingness to chase someone who's running away. It's his willingness to walk away when his peace is threatened. That's not just power, brothers. That's self-love. If this message resonated with you, if you're ready to break free from toxic cycles and reclaim your power, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Share this video with a brother who needs to hear this message. Leave a comment and let me know. What toxic pattern are you ready to break today? Remember, you can't control how others treat you, but you can control how long you allow it. You can't force someone to value you, but you can refuse to devalue yourself. The man who learns to choose himself first never has to beg for anyone's attention again. The man who finds his peace doesn't trade it for chaos. The man who knows his worth doesn't settle for less, and that, brothers, isn't just transformation. That's revolution.